What do you think about the seeming fact the majority of Palestinians support the October 7th attacks?
You have to see the world, their world, through their eyes. You can't try to see their world through your eyes. If you live under occupation, you're routinely harassed at Israeli checkpoints. The occupation is expanding into your territory. You're meeting families, regularly that have been thrown out of their homes and that are looking for a new place in this shrinking territory. You deal with routine airstrikes. You have no way to get out. You have no way to grow. You don't even have a passport. Your education is subpar. Your standards of living are lower than the rest of the world. And all you hear from the other side, which dominates the discourse and dominates every element of your existence, are promises of erasure, of complete erasure. 13,000 people, I mentioned, 2023, 13,000 new settlement units being advanced. If that happened anywhere, right, just think about what that means, right? When you clear out a village or two. And it's not that big of a territory, right? When you know that that's happening and when you have been subjected to that, anyone that claims to be supporting you or uplifting you from that state of misery is going to have sympathy. Whether you agree with their mission or their methods or not, it's human. It is human that if anyone says that they are going to get you out of this misery and inflict pain on those who have given you a life of pain and promised you a future of pain, you're going to have sympathy to that group, whether you agree with them or not. I think that the question also has to be asked, what about the Israeli public? Israel holds all of the power in that region, holds all of the power over that territory, is able to dominate the expansion of its own territory and diminish any Palestinian territory, is able to place restrictions whenever it wants on Palestinian movement trying to get to their holy sites or otherwise, whether it's Masjid al-Aqsa or the Holy Sepulchre or the Church of Nativity, right? The majority of the Israeli public before October 7th, unfortunately, according to all polls, favors a non-democratic regime, the end of a two-state solution, does not care about the plight of Palestinian people, the majority of the Israeli public. Why is that? And what does that mean for Palestinians, right? Especially now, after this genocide, the vast majority of the Israeli public does not favor a ceasefire, right? What are we supposed to do when we see mainstream media coming out of Israel, pop culture, TikTok videos that only speak to a greater desire to eliminate the Palestinian people, right? So anyone that says that they are going to support your plight, whether you agree with their mission or their methods, is going to resonate with that child that has grown up in those desperate circumstances. Bassem Youssef had an interview with Piers Morgan, and he was talking about this. I mean, he literally gave it a human story. If you're a child that's grown up, you've lost limbs, your parents are dead, your friends are dead, you have been made a refugee 2 or 3 times already, you have no future in sight. And then someone comes to you and says, I'm going to help you, and I'm going to fight back on your behalf. Of course it's going to resonate. It's human, right? And so I think that it's important for us to see the world through their eyes rather than try to see the world through our eyes.
So as Malcolm X did, you're calling for highlighting the asymmetry in violence and asymmetry in moral reasoning.
Absolutely. It's important. You're not going to be able to solve this problem unless you're able to do that. And so when Malcolm said that if you stick a knife 9 inches into my back and pull it out 6 inches, that's not progress. Progress is healing the wound, and you're not even willing to acknowledge that the knife is there yet. Those that don't acknowledge what is determined now by any international human rights organization, even Israeli human rights organization, Bet Islam and others, to be apartheid, a state of apartheid and a state of occupation, and now an unfolding genocide. are not partners for peace.
It just hurts me to think how long it takes to heal. Even if the healing begins now with a knife metaphor, it's just going to be generations, because people don't forget when your father and mother were murdered, or somebody that you know in your family was killed. They don't forget.
Look, I think the point is that we have to come to terms with the fact that the trauma of the past does not justify the murder of the present, and the fear of the future does not justify the murder of the present. The urgency of the world right now should be entirely focused on ending this atrocity that unfortunately the world has become so complacent with. Again, prior to October 7th, this status quo was not acceptable, and there was no means in sight in the global arena to rein this in, to make Israel more accountable, to stop this. I do believe in the power of healing. I do believe in the power of growth. I do believe that we have seen ugly episodes of history before that have been rectified. I also believe in the heart of my people. I believe that the Palestinian people are people of resistance. They're people of resilience. They're people of courage. And they're people of benevolence and magnanimity. And they're people who have been made to grow under the worst of circumstances. I don't see in the hearts of young Palestinians that have been tormented, I don't see darkness. I see light. I see the ability to still laugh and find joy despite everything that's happened. And so I think that the urgency right now just has to be towards ensuring that they have a life, that they're not being killed anymore.